The town awoke to sirens echoing through the valley, a sound that instantly stirred fear among families still rubbing sleep from their eyes. Overnight, the headlines had exploded across every platform: National Guard soldier arrested in shooting. But what people didn't know was that this was only the surface of a much larger and more dangerous truth. Ethan Cole, just 23, sat in the back of a police cruiser staring blankly at the world outside. His heart pounded like a drum inside a hollow room. He didn't resist. He didn't speak. He only repeated one thing: "I didn't fire my weapon." But his words were swallowed by flashing red and blue chaos swirling around him. Behind police lines, soldiers whispered, some confused, others frightened. They all knew Ethan as the quiet kid, the one who polished his boots twice a day, who volunteered for extra shifts, who wrote letters home instead of going out. No one could imagine him pulling the trigger on his own team. Yet evidence was stacking against him like a wall he couldn't climb. Hours earlier, at the firing range, a sudden burst of gunfire cut through the night. By the time soldiers rushed in, Sergeant Lewis lay bleeding, and the second victim, a local civilian contractor, was found hiding, trembling, his arm grazed. Both pointed to the direction Ethan had run. But in the confusion, no one saw the shadow slipping silently through the trees. As Ethan sat in the dim holding cell later, his hands shook, not from guilt, but from terror. He kept remembering the odd noises he had heard in the woods during the drill. Footsteps that didn't match the team's rhythm. A radio signal that didn't come from his unit's channel. And the dark SUV he saw earlier slipping past the gate, windows tinted like midnight. He tried to explain all this, but the investigators were convinced they already had their culprit. Meanwhile, journalist Maya Turner was already piecing the puzzle together. While most reporters circled the police station like vultures, she drove directly to the base, noticing something strange from the moment she arrived. Extra guards, unmarked vehicles, officers whispering into radios as if something bigger was unfolding behind the scenes. A captain brushed her off, but she could see fear in his eyes, a fear he desperately tried to hide behind formal protocols. Maya dug through Ethan's background and found something that didn't match the official story: his exemplary record. 0 disciplinary actions. 0 behavioral issues. A soldier described by his peers as the last person to even raise his voice. So why was there such a rush to blame him? New tensions formed when a whistleblower, a former tech specialist, agreed to meet Maya in a parking garage late at night. His voice trembled as he confessed the existence of a secret digital targeting system being tested on the base. A system that tagged soldiers' rifles with signatures to track every bullet fired. A system that often glitched under pressure. A system that could easily be manipulated. When he told her someone inside the base had the ability to rewrite the weapon signatures, Maya felt a chill crawl up her spine. If someone wanted to frame Ethan, the technology made it perfectly possible, and terrifyingly easy. At the same time, Sergeant Lewis regained consciousness briefly in the hospital. A detective leaned in, ready to take the statement that would end Ethan's life forever. But Lewis weakly shook his head. His words were soft and cracked, barely forming sound. "It wasn't him," he whispered. "Someone else. In our unit." Before he could say more, his body seized with pain, and the medical team rushed him away. But the damage was done. Doubt was born. Rumors spread fast. Soldiers spoke of night drills that never appeared on schedules. They talked about drones hovering above sleeping quarters, about anonymous messages sent to their private phones warning them not to ask too many questions. A sense of paranoia flooded the base. No one knew who to trust anymore. As Maya continued investigating, she found footage from a local gas station, the same black SUV seen near the base hours before the shooting. Its driver wore a military coat, one identical to Ethan's unit. She zoomed in, sharpening the grainy footage until she spotted a chilling detail: the patch on the sleeve belonged to someone ranked above Ethan. Someone who had access. Someone who could slip onto the base unnoticed. Back at the holding cell, Ethan sat alone in the silence, trembling as memories returned in fragments. He remembered hearing his name whispered through the trees during the drill, an eerie voice that sounded close but belonged to no one he knew. He remembered seeing a soldier-shaped shadow holding his exact rifle model. He remembered running through the darkness, thinking someone was about to ambush him. None of it made sense, until now. By evening, the story spiraled out of control. News anchors argued. Officials denied secret drills existed. The guard released a statement that raised more questions than answers. Protesters gathered outside the base demanding transparency. And through it all, the real shooter, the invisible ghost, remained silent, hidden somewhere within the labyrinth of military power. Season 1 closed with floodlights sweeping across the base like searching eyes. Soldiers patrolled with tension in their steps. Maya stood in the cold night, her microphone trembling in her hand as she delivered a chilling report. And up on a distant hill, barely visible in the moonlight, a figure watched the base with unmoving focus, a silhouette still wearing the stolen uniform, still carrying Ethan's signature-coded weapon, still planning the next move. The truth wasn't just darker than anyone expected. It was still out there, breathing, watching, waiting.